Hey guys, this is DK Spencer. This is my serious whatever. So, what is less lethal? So, less lethal, right in the name says less lethal. So, it is less of a chance of being lethal, or it is less than lethal force. So, it is intentionally not supposed to kill you. That is the point. That is why that we're allowed to have them pretty much anywhere in any body, as everybody knows. The problem is when we have a product that we brag about to everybody that anybody can buy these, it doesn't matter, no FFL check, nothing, anywhere, completely legal. And the problem with that is when then we turn around and start also saying that we've modified them to where they're as deadly as a firearm or as powerful as a firearm or will kill you just like a firearm. And even though that's not the case, even if we're saying that kind of stuff, it is going to draw a lot of negative attention. The reality of the situation is that less lethal is not a bunch of people who woke up and wanted something that looks just like a gun, but just doesn't work as good. It's not. That's not the case. This is a bunch of people who wish they could have a gun, and this is the next best option. So bear that in mind. Anybody who's out there trying to decide between less lethal and a firearm, I will never point you in the direction of less lethal. Buy a firearm, hit the range, be very safe with it, and you're a lot better off. It's more reliable, safer, more effective. And I'm not going to go into a big, but you're talking high pressure air and multiple seals, and there's just so many more things that can go wrong. But less lethal is 100% the absolute best option if you cannot own a firearm. Now, here's the thing. As long as that is what it is and we're keeping it less lethal and, whatever, we're all gravy. But now here's the problem. When the powers that be realize that this is something anybody can get anywhere without an FFL check, and then you've got people bragging about it being just like a firearm, it will be taken away from us so fast, and air guns will go with it because they won't be able to differentiate the air guns. The reason that the air guns have been not an issue, why this is not blown up like the less lethal stuff, think about it, most of the air guns up until very recently, if they were strong enough to actually do anything, they look like something out of a sci-fi movie. They're huge, like 6 feet long, or they carry 3 shots or whatever. And I mean they're not appealing to a lot of people. Someone who wants a real gun, they're typically not appealing to them, and they're not as effective for what you want them for anyway. Not as portable. So anyway, the reality is you've got a nation full of felons, and that's the government wants us to be a nation full of felons. They give felonies out like it's toilet paper in Russia, but no, they give them out way easier than that. Never mind. But that was a Cold War reference. I'm old. So anyway. But the thing of it is that they give they give felonies for just anything, and then you can't get a gun. Well, half the country can't have a gun, so they want to take them away. You guys see that they want to take guns away. Well, the other way to do that is just make everybody not allowed to have them. If you can't make the gun itself illegal, just make everybody prohibited from owning them. And that's kind of where we're at as a nation. So we've got a whole lot of people that wish they could have guns that can't, and these are very appealing because they look like them. They're not strong enough from the factory. They do need to be modified, but when you get to the point to where you're bragging that you've hit firearm levels with them, then you are going to get firearm level regulation with them. That's just do you need firearm level with these? I think absolutely not. I think that's shooting ourselves in the foot if we're striving for that. If you're striving for that as a hobby just to see what numbers you can possibly achieve, that's great, but I think you should distance yourself from calling yourself less lethal when you are blatantly making something lethal intentionally. But if you still stay within the less lethal community, it just, you see what I'm saying, it just ruins it for everybody. I get the hobby of it, I totally do. I modify stuff, I love modifying stuff, but we need to understand, number one, why we're doing that, because half of the people out there are deluded into thinking that they need 100 joules in order to be safe. In reality, 50 joules is more than sufficient to stop somebody. And once you double your power, your reliability is nothing. You lose every bit of that. Your accuracy goes to crap. Your shot count goes in half. So I mean, looks to me like if you've got something that's effective at this number, why would you want to? If you're now, don't get me wrong, I get the hobby of it. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're really the people who are really thinking they need this to protect themselves, 50 joules will stop somebody. I promise you, 50 joules will stop. Nobody wants more than one shot of 50 joules. Why are you going to make it 100 and risk killing somebody? If somebody has something they're advertising and telling you it's as deadly as a firearm, it's as strong as a firearm, but it's less lethal, and you buy it and you kill somebody with it accidentally, you don't have a leg to stand on because you've already been told that's a lethal weapon. Not to mention the fact of people are broadcasting, hey, I have a lethal weapon and I'm a felon and I can have them, and everybody else can too. So it's counterproductive all the way around to use some of the verbiage that some of the people are using. So I'm going to try to do better myself, and I hope everybody else does. I mean, you guys can do whatever. I'm not the police on this or anything, but some people expressed some interest because I'd said something about this in the middle of another video, and people kind of expressed some interest in me maybe doing a standalone. So this is it. Bottom line, if people ask you why you like less lethal, and you say, well, it's just a good way for me to protect myself and my family and not worry about killing somebody and having that on my conscience, we're golden. But if they ask you, what the deal is, and you say, man, I caught me like 3 felonies, they told me I couldn't never have a gun, but I figured out, man, I can get this thing, it looks just like an AR-15, and homeboy says it's just as powerful as a gun and just as deadly, so look, we're done. It'll be over with, and so will the air gun. So just think about what you're doing. All right, bye.